So I'm a little bit late today, but it was a really warm day in St. Louis here again, and I had to take advantage of it because I was so sick for so long that I didn't get the barn cleaned like I should have. So the bunnies needed their poop scooped basically, and anyway, I've been doing that most of the day, and I am suitably tired now as a result. So I did not quite get my my downbreed sheep fleece processed. Remember, I washed that on Monday, but I didn't quite get it processed so that I could show you how to card today. So that's going to have to be next week. Next week we're going to talk about carding. And I don't have combs, so I can't show you combing, but I can at least show you carding, and it'll give me time to practice because it's been a while since I have carded. I'm not going to lie. There are some great videos on YouTube, but, I'm going to show you how to do it too, as soon as I practice a little more. But I thought it might be fun today to talk about various preparations, pull this in front of me so you can see it, of wool as you prepare to spin. So this will be probably the most familiar to people. This is just like a curl piece of sheep fleece right here, just sheep fleece. And this is washed, border Leicester, beautiful curly stuff. Beautiful locks, makes like great little Santa or gnome beards if you need something like that. Nice high luster, and one of the ways that I really like to spin something like this is I like to flick it. So flick card it and then just spin it right from the lock. I don't actually like. Did you? And we're back. Oh, good. Sorry about that. My internet cut out for a minute. So anyway, these are tiny second cuts. These are tiny little pieces where they went back in and had some little second cuts, and then this is the nice full lock. And you can see it's really easy to tease these apart, even with just your fingers. And you could just spin this right there, just as it is. It's pulling apart nicely. I could very easily spin this, and it would allow me to have a little more of a worsted prep. So if you recall from our earlier talks, and if not, I'm going to tell you again, worsted prep means that you are keeping all of those hairs, wool fibers, all those fibers in as close of a parallel alignment as possible, versus worsted prep, which means you are just letting it go any which way it wants to go. So when it comes to locks like this, it's really easy to tease these apart and just spin right from that. I like to use the flick carder to make it a little bit faster, and it's an almost worsted, true worsted. It's not quite a true worsted prep because for it to be a true worsted prep, you would need to comb it so that all of those fibers stay in alignment and parallel to each other. So there's one way to do it. Lots of different kinds of fleece. Of course, there are our fine wools. There's the down breeds, like what I was washing on Monday, with those, tiny, tight, sort of fluffy little locks, versus these great big beautiful curls. This is more of a long wool breed, right? This border Leicester, pretty sheep though. So that's one option. Now we can take it from this preparation and we can do other things with it. So this happens to be a bat, and it is one that I bought. It is from Dunspun, so this is not one that we made, but I've talked to Tina and we have a drum carder, so we might be making some bats in the future. This is what a bat looks like, and yes, I am going to spread it out. This is a pretty bat. It has some sparkle in it. I don't know if you can see that, not too much. Just like this. So this is a bat that's been done on a drum carder, and you lay your wool in, and you can blend it quite a bit, or you can leave it a little less blended, sort of like this one. So this is more of a watercolor one, quite pretty. And you can now take this bat and you can do a lot of things with it, just sort of like you can with your locks. So you can needle felt with these, right? Beautiful needle felting. You can spin that. You can do other kinds of wet felting. Same idea with this. So we could spin this, and I can just tear strips off and spin it, or I can break it down into little tiny strips and spin it, right? Or I could take this and I could wet felt this, and I could spread it out more, and I could make a great big scarf out of it and wet felt it. Tina has done that. She's done these beautiful wet felted scarves before, and she uses like this pool noodle or the insulation, the foam insulation that you use around pipes. So, you know, that would be like a really, do you think that would be a fun demonstration? I think that would be a fun demonstration. I'm going to talk to Tina and see if she wants to do a really fun wet felted scarf demonstration again sometime soon, because I think between her and Grayson, I think they could get it done, and it would be a great video. Don't you think it would be a great video? We should tell her in the comments if you think that would be a great video. Just mentioning. So these, very versatile, because again, you can use these for needle felting too. I'm not saying you can't. So lots of options. This is a bat though, and this is what they look like. The other thing that you have that I don't have with me is a rolag. And with the rolags, at least I call them rolags. They may not be pronounced that way. That's what I'm going to call them though. They are small, I'm not going to call it a worm of fiber, caterpillars of fiber that are usually made on like a blending board. And I can't do this quite as pretty as what it came. I'm just not going to get it done, but I am going to try. So I'm going to roll this up. Oh yeah, it's just not going to be, it's going to be nowhere near as pretty. Just trying to get this up so I can tuck it in. No, nowhere near as pretty. Well, that's all right. It's just going to be the way it is. It's going to have to be the way it is. There we go. Because I need to show you the rest. Okay, so there, I've got it all rolled up and tucked back in. That way I don't forget what this was, because I'm notorious for forgetting it if I don't make sure that I have the tag in there. So, rolags, super cool. Make them on a blending board. We actually sell blending boards, and I don't know if we have any in stock at the moment, but super nice guy named Les makes them. Great quality, really nice, fun to play with. They are awesome for what I like to think of as hobbyist or smaller operations, because, you know, with a blending board, it's a small piece. So, you know, it does take more time for you to make the pretties and the pretty little rolags. But they're super pretty and they're really fun to spin from, because, you know, they're basically caterpillars. And so you could just spin from one end of the caterpillar and off you go. And I haven't bought any recently, so I don't have any to show you at the moment. Darn. So now we move on to something you're probably more familiar with, and that is, and our roving. Roving is usually a woolen prep, because all the fibers go every which way, just like on the bats. It's really hard to keep them in alignment and parallel. Even combed top, a lot of combed top that's commercially prepped is not as parallel as what it would be if you had done it by hand. Because again, it's going through a machine and the machine isn't checking for those parallel fibers, blah, blah, blah. But for the most part, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. A lot of combed top that you can find, unfortunately, will just have a little dab of worsted, or excuse me, a woolen prep. It just will. It will. And it's okay. It's not a big deal. It's just one more way to prep fiber. And if you're really concerned about it, you could always recomb your fiber, but I don't have time for that. I barely have time to do my videos with my child and everything else I'm doing, right? Oh, I know. So let's talk about our fun roving. Lots and lots and lots of different fibers, tons of different fibers. This one happens to be a Sweet Georgia one. Most roving is going to come braided, and the reason that it's braided is because it takes up a lot less space, and it's much easier to stick this in a package and send it. So different ways that you can braid. You can actually like braid, you know, do a 3-piece braid. Or you can do sort of a crochet loop braid. I'm going to see if this one happens to be from Pearly Shell. And, oh, yep. So here we've got the crochet loop version, where you just take your hand and you pull it through like this, and you pop the end in, right? And, okay, so when you pop the tail out, you can very easily undo your roving. So if you're wondering how in the world to undo your roving when you get it, it may be that you just need to find the end that makes it come apart and then pop that crochet loop open. I think this one is done with, needed to find the end of this one anyway. There we go. So this one, I think, oh, this is the opposite end. Well, that's not going to help anything. Hang on. I got to go to the other end. Let's see. Actually, this one might be a true braid. That might be my problem. It's always hard to tell. We'll find out here in just a minute. Nope, this one's also a crochet loop. So sometimes it's a true braid, excuse me. A lot of times it's just the crochet loop. And you'll notice this one is a little skinnier than the other one, and that's not a big deal. That's just a variation in how the roving was originally prepped, and it has nothing to actually do with the roving itself. So no need to worry about that. So there we go, and crochet it right back up. When it comes to preps like this, a lot of times, you know, because they've been compressed down, you do want to put some air back into these braids when you get ready to spin them. So for example, I would pop this one open, and if I wanted to keep my pretty color repeats the way that they are, I would probably just fluff the end like this as I went along. There's always a ton of options. There's a lot of color play that you can do. Where you can split the braid down the middle. You can do fractal spinning, where you split it down the middle and then you take half and you split it into smaller and smaller pieces. And, you know, depending on how you spin it, if you decide you're going to do a 2-ply or a 3-ply or a chain ply, or you want to do a single, or you may want to make it an art yarn. There's so many different things that you can do to play with the colors in your piece. So it really comes down to just sort of what you want to do and how you want to mess with it. Now, there are some great books out there. I'm trying to think, do I have? Yeah, there's some great books out there when it comes to spinning. This is a really good one. I probably can't read this. It's called Color and Spinning. It's by Deb Menz, sorry. It's a really interesting book all about color and spinning, right? How to put it all together. Another really good one is, let me see if I can find it. Let's see. I like this one. This one's an interesting one. It's called The Yarn Book. This one is more for, it's by Penny Walsh. This one is more if you're really getting into the technical side of spinning yarn. What are some other good ones? This is one that I started with. It's called Spin It, Making Yarn from Scratch by Lee Raven. It's a thin book, but it was a great kind of introduction to spinning if you're kind of looking for something like that. This one is also by Lee Raven, but it is a longer tome, and we can get these for you if you're interested in them. It's called Hands on Spinning by Lee Raven, and this one just goes in more depth. A lot more depth than what the smaller Spin It book does. And let's see, what else do I have over here? I love this book too, by Gail Callahan, Hand Dyeing Yarn and Fleece. I love books. I have a problem with books. You'll notice there's a lot of books behind me. I really love books, especially love craft books. So I end up with a lot of craft books. But yeah, I have all kinds of books back here, and some of them I don't really use anymore, so it's probably time to move them along. But if you are looking at getting into spinning, if you're curious about spinning, or you're trying to sort of learn more about it, up your game, never hurts to check out a few books. And it's always nice to check your local library and make sure that it's a book you really want. Borrow one from a friend before you go in and buy it, because you know, you can always resell the books. I resell books. But it's so nice to be able to check them out in person before you commit to one. So we have a few spinning books available on our website. And if you are thinking about getting into spinning and you have not purchased your wheel yet, I highly recommend my Kromsky Sonata. I really love it. The Kromsky Fantasia is very similar, a little more modern looking wheel. Mine, of course, has the big spoked wheel, so it looks just a little bit more vintage. And if you do decide to buy a Fantasia or a Sonata, both of them now have the magnetic flyer heads available. It is a separate purchase, not gonna lie, but it is amazing. And I really, really love my magnetic flyer head. Like, I really love my magnetic flyer head. Love my magnetic flyer head. And I have been doing a ton more spinning since I got the magnetic flyer head. I changed out the treadles, so I no longer had my janky old treadles with the terrible hard connectors. And I put the new drive band on because my old drive band just, you know, had been out of use too long. It was too brittle, kept breaking. So those three things, it's like a brand new wheel for me. It feels like a brand new wheel. And I love it so much more. Because I was like ready to get rid of my Sonata. I was looking at other brands because I was so frustrated with my wheel. Doing those things really made it a much better spinning experience for me. So if you're having trouble with your wheel, it is worth taking the time to explore the treadle connectors, the drive band on your wheel. Make sure that you've cleaned all of the old oil off of it recently and that you've re-oiled everything. And you know, if you've done all of that and you still need help, you can always send us a video and we can try to troubleshoot for you. Tina and I, we don't know everything about wheels, but we know enough. And if we can't help you, we'll find someone who will. Because that's just the kind of people we are. Yeah, we want to make sure that we're taking care of you. And in the interest of taking care of you. I am thinking about doing some Zoom classes starting next month. I will make them available through the website. They will probably be evening classes. It will probably be, there'll be like a once a week something, and then maybe one that's like a once every other day for a week kind of thing. I may try to do some beginners tatting if anyone's interested in that. I am thinking about doing a sock knit along sock series to walk you through a sock. And then I'm going to try and get Tina to teach a beginner's knitting or a beginner's crochet or both. We'll see. Because we know you're out there and we know that you really, really want to keep learning. And even though I've been trying to teach you a little bit as we go along, sometimes that's just not as good as when we can do those one-on-one, face-to-face via video kind of things. So my plan is next month to start offering some Zoom classes. You'll be able to sign up for them through our website, just like normal. All of the information will be there, and it may not be Zoom. I may try Google Meet or another video conferencing app instead. I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to learning new things. And in case you're wondering, I do actually have a master's degree in learning design and technology. So yeah, I kind of did an entire master's degree on how to do online learning with adults. And I would like to put it to use. So I'm going to try and plan that around like some dates and times when Avi can be watching Ina, and I can just focus on teaching you guys. And again, it'll be later evening, so probably like 6 or 7 o'clock my time, so that would be 4 or 5 your time, to try to make it more accessible all the way across the board from Pacific through to Eastern. So that's my plan. I think it's a good one. If you haven't been checking out Tina's Crafty Advent calendar, that's still going on. She's not quite done yet. I have agreed to join her tomorrow for the last Crafty Advent video. And yeah, it's been kind of an entertaining little video series that she's doing. So make sure that you're checking that out. She's been putting it up on YouTube, but she's also been sharing it to our Facebook page. And that brings me to another point. Make sure that you have hit that subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube. You've hit the like button for our page if you're watching us through Facebook. If you happen to catch us on TikTok, I'm putting up a series of videos there as well on all the parts of a sock, and I try to do a little 1-minute tutorial video almost every day. yeah, almost every day I'm trying to put up a little TikTok video, just a little something, you know, to keep you learning, because I love to teach. So it's a great way for me to reach out and teach. And I do my videos here with you guys where I get to talk, although nobody's talked to me today, but that's okay. What else do I need to tell you? I don't know. All kinds of fun things are happening. We're trying to line up a lot of teaching for January, February, and we are going to do, we're going to support the Spin Together Make Along. So that is, you spin it in January and then you make it between January and the end of February, but it has to be from your hand spun from January. And there's going to be prizes, so we're donating some prizes, and I'm going to participate because why not? I've been spinning a ton, might as well. And in addition to that, Tina and I have been talking about putting together some kind of like self-care. We don't want to call it selfish because it's not selfish. So we're going to call it some kind of like self-care January, where we're going to have some prizes for people who join us, who are sharing their work on Facebook or Instagram and tagging Black Sheep Fiber Emporium, or, you know, hashtag BSFE. That way we can find you, so that we can see what you've been making. And we really want you to make something that you've been putting off that is special for you. So whether that's a sweater or a shawl or a scarf or a pair of socks, or you pick out, you know, this roving that you wanted to spin and you just never spun it because it was too precious. Whatever it was, we want you to make like a really special thing in January and February. And so we're gonna host this we'll put more details up as we figure this out. I kind of proposed it yesterday and we're still percolating on all the details. But it's coming, and we're gonna do this like make along again, kind of like the Spin Together one, which would totally count towards hours as well. But we're gonna do like a self-care January, February, where we want you to make something just for you, where it's really special, and yeah. That's kind of the idea. So there should be a newsletter that will be coming out soon that'll have some more details on that. And anyway, I'm just talking a lot now. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's most of the stuff that's coming up. I think it's gonna be fun. So if there's a class that you really want Tina or I to teach, make sure that you throw a comment on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Let us know. We would love to know what you want us to teach you. We always try to make our classes super affordable, so that everyone can take them if they're interested. And yeah, and I want to do these Zoom classes or Google Meet classes. We're going to call them video classes. Video classes, good enough. Because we want to connect with you guys. So if there's something that you want us to teach, please let us know, because, you know, we're trying to make sure that we are teaching what you want to learn. Okay, so Monday, hopefully, I will have had enough time to practice my carding and make some pretty roll eggs. And we'll talk about pretty much everything that I can possibly think of to teach you about carding and making roll eggs and spinning from roll eggs on Monday next week. And then I don't know what we're going to do Wednesday yet, but we'll do something fun. And yeah. Until Monday, happy holidays. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. If you celebrate any other holiday, I hope that it's a wonderful one. Please stay home, stay safe, wear your mask, wash your hands, physically distance yourself from people. Don't go out unless you have to. Stay home and craft like the wind, because that's what is fun right now. I'm making another hat because I seem to be in a hat kind of mood. So I made a hat for Ina with a cute little pom-pom. And I made a hat for my massage therapist, which he loved, because I delivered that last night. I made cookies with Ina yesterday. I will try to share at least one picture of that because it was hilarious. Her trying to like roll the molasses cookie balls was hilarious. And I'm making another hat. So I'm going to go take a break because I have just been working I had been working my poor little feet off all day trying to get stuff caught up from being sick. And I have a bunch of envelopes to pack for slow crawl because we're starting to get ready for slow crawl. So make sure that's on your radar. So I will see you all on Monday. I hope that what I talked about today was useful. And until next time, take care of yourself and everybody around you. So I will see you on Monday.